Hey everyone, welcome again to my channel. Today I'm taking you with me to the book market in Bilzen, at least the July edition, because there are 3 editions this year in total. But before we go to this book market, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome to Quillscene. My name is Megan. If you like things that have to do with reading, with writing, with witchy things, with geeky things, with my adventures as a writer, then you're in the right place. Make sure to click on the magical subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell, because on that way you'll always get a notification whenever I upload a new video. But yes, book market in Bilzen, July edition, let's go! As an author, I'm always looking to take part in events, being it events that I already know, but also new events, because every chance that you get to sell your books or even just talk about your books is a good chance. So, and also a good day. So when the book market in Bilzen came on my radar, I was very happy. The book market in Bilzen is actually it gets hosted at the marketplace around the city hall in Bilzen. Well, the city, you have like here City Hall and here is the church, and it has like a huge, well, a rather huge, a rather big marketplace around, and then that's where the stalls gets placed, because we don't need to bring our own tents, we don't need to bring our own tables. As you will soon see in the footage, they're all like those market stalls with like the, how do you call it again? The canopy-like roof over your head, but it's basically like a table with a bit of rain protection. As I said, this is the July edition, because this market was hosted on Sunday the 28th of July. If I'm not mistaken, it's always the last Sunday of the month. Back in the day, I'm talking like it's 10 years ago, but in the past they used to organize it every month. But they noticed that, of course, when it's cold and it's rainy and you host an outdoor book market, not a lot of vendors come and not a lot of people come. So they decided to dial back and do 3 editions a year, being July, August and September. I immediately signed up for all 3 editions. Though I have to say that on this edition in July, it was just me with my books, and my mom also got also had a part of my booth with our bookmarks that we sell by Magical Treasures, or through Magical Treasures. But in the next editions, you will see in the coming vlogs about this book market in Bilzen, that sometimes I have some company with me, because also Jana Bollens and Matthias Maho sometimes tagged along. But this edition, it was just me and my mom. As I said, Sunday the 28th of April, and it was from noon till 5 p.m. that the market was open, and we were allowed to set up, I think, from 10 a.m. So it was okay-ish event concerning getting up and getting there, because it's like half an hour away from me, half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that. The market itself is open to authors with their books like me, but also people who sell secondhand books, and most of the market, like 95% of the market, are secondhand books, and then the other 5% is like authors who have a booth and present their own books. It's fun because it's a diverse market, but sometimes you really notice as an author that people really are hunting for second-hand books, and yeah, those second-hand books have low prices, like 4-5 euros a piece, sometimes even just 2 euros. And then when they come to our booth and they hear that we have to that our books, that are new books, have a price of more than 20 euros, they're like, and they walk away. So that's, you have those people too. But all in all, it's always a fun vibe at the book market, because there are street musicians, as you will see in the footage, and they also have each edition street theater. And in this edition for July, it was the Big Bad Wolf and Red Riding Hood, which was a lot of fun because they did a modern version. So Red Riding Hood wasn't lost in the forest looking for her grandmother's house, but she was looking for her grandmother, who was living somewhere in one of the service flats surrounding the marketplace, but she had forgotten the exact address. And then the Big Bad Wolf, who was also on stilts, so he was like massive, he was like hunting Red Riding Hood, and at the same time he was interviewing like older ladies to see if they wanted to be his next grandma on the menu. So yeah, it was very fun because they switched up their humor slash dialogue to the level of the person they talked to. So when it was to little kids, they would keep to the originals, you know, storyline of the fairy tale. While when they would talk to teenagers and adults, it became a bit more like word jokes, and yeah, the jokes became a bit more mature. So yeah, that was fun, really. And yeah, as you will see in the footage, I filmed a few clips of them. So yeah, let's go to the Boekenmarkt in Bilzen with the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood. could see, it was a lot of fun. It was also a very sunny day. Yeah, and we were quite surprised of the people that were walking around, because again, it was a book market, so you know that the people walking around and visiting the market are interested in books. Of course, one of the downsides is a lot of people just look for secondhand books, so they focus on the very low prices that are often asked for secondhand books, causing them to like frown and commenting on the prices of new books that the authors have with them, because as I said before, the standard secondhand book is usually 4 or 5 euros, around that price, while my new books are 23 euros for the moment. So there is a difference, and some people, yeah, aren't that good in hiding their reaction to that. Plus, but also you had like, for example, teachers who were shopping between the secondhand books for their class library, because often, sadly, that comes from the books that are in the class library are often bought by the teacher themselves, or they have like a very small school budget to buy books, and then like secondhand books are, yeah, the way to go in that case. But still, I sold quite some books, and we also sold a few bookmarks. I also made contact with a few teachers, because I of course give also author readings, so fingers crossed that some author readings will follow from those talks. And of course my mom was with me. So she did some shopping. Sadly, I didn't save the books, so I can't like show you the books. But one of her favorite buys ever, for the people who are home into the fantasy side of reading and know Naomi Novik. She's quite a popular, I dare to say, fantasy author, and lately she has been quite popular with like retellings of fairy tales that she gives her own twist of to. But actually, I and my mom have known Naomi Novik way before that, because we mostly know her from the Téméraire series, which is an I think an 8-part book series about the a war between France, I think, and China. And only the army is like reinforced with dragon riders. And my mom has had those books in Dutch until like, I think, book 5 or book 4. And after that, she never found the next parts anymore in Dutch, though all 8 parts have been translated in Dutch. And by now they are like holy grail books to find, because I had found like one of the later parts, and just for one book it was like 200 euros that they were asking. Thing is, we are good friends with some second-hand booksellers called Sabine and Mark from the Book Paradise, because back in the day, like 2016, 17, 17 if I'm not mistaken, they themselves organized a little book fair, and that was actually one of my very first book fairs that I did as an author, so that's how I knew them. And coincidence wanted that like my table was right here, and like back to back, so it were like 2 rows of tables with like this space for the vendors, and then the people would walk like here. So here was my table, and here the entire row was where Sabine and Marek were. So we had good neighbors, and that's when I suddenly saw that they had like this tower packed together for I think 80 euros, the entire Téméraire series in hardcover, Dutch edition. And my mom was basically crying when she saw them, so I want to buy them for her. So now she has the entire series in the right language and in the same format and everything. And yeah, I hope to read them again too, because I remember that was the books that I read after Aragon. So, and Aragon was like one of my milestone books. So yeah, Téméraire, yeah. I loved the conversation between Téméraire, because Téméraire is the dragon, and his rider, because they were quite funny. And then, as a thank you, she bought me the film edition, but again, I don't have it with me, of the film edition book of Van Helsing, the film with Hugh Jackman. Why? Because one of my book series that I'm writing is called the Van Helsing Chronicles, which is basically the lore of Van Helsing, but then entirely different, like a spin-off thingy of it. Don't want to spoil anything, but basically it's the traditional Van Helsing story. Well, no, it's not the traditional Van Helsing story, because the Van Helsing story is also partly told with Dracula, but it's basically a story of a film with pictures of the film. So yeah, that was also fun that she got me that, and that was one of the secondhand books that only cost like I think 3 euros or 4 euros. So yeah. And next to that, we also bought our waffles to support the cancer funds, the Cancer Foundation, sorry. In Dutch it's called Fonds, and then translated literally to English it's funds. But the Cancer Foundation, it's a man who yeah, is selling waffles for the Cancer Foundation for a few years now. And he is close to, like, I think that he said €1 million that he himself in all those years like got together with just selling waffles. So I myself am an ex-cancer patient. I got eye cancer as a baby, resulting in that I only have one eye, because my left eye is actually a prosthetic. So yeah, when we can support the Cancer Foundation on that way, we of course do that. And that was our first experience with the book market in Bilzen. As I said in the previous vlogs, it will return, because we also did an edition in August and an edition in September. And then I would get, I have more people around me, because in August Jana tags along, and in September Matthias and Jana tagged along. So yeah, that's still to come. But that is it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a little thumbs up or a comment down below with your thoughts. Things like that help my channel grow, and of course I love to hear your feedback. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys soon for another bookish, magical, probably on the go video. Bye!